Today we're at the home of architecture professor and author Vidar Lerum and designer Pawlias to talk about a stormwater management strategy that requires a little more planning and investment. I'm so excited to show this to you. It's a green roof. Now, a green roof is topped with a layer of soil and plants to absorb or slow down rainwater that would otherwise rush off a traditional roof. So let's go check it out. So, what made you decide to put a green roof on your house?
Well, my main intention was to do a house that was very efficient in terms of energy, and green roof is one strategy.
So what sort of preparation do you do on the roof in order to make it a green roof?
We had to consult with a structural engineer to decide how much weight we could have regarding soil.
We have a roof membrane on the roof. It's a small slope on the roof. On top of that is an interesting product that is both a roof barrier and a drainage layer, so that the water can drain off under the roots and the roots will not go down into the roofing barrier. So that's the first, and then the mixture of soil comes on top of that, and then the plants.
So then I started to design a soil mixture that would be 8 inches deep. I had to adjust the different ingredients to the mix so that I could keep it within that weight frame. My experience in the greenhouse was that when you buy a bag of potting mix, that when it dries out, it's permanently dried out and you cannot re-wet it. So by doing my own, I was able to create a mixture that would be able to be re-wetted, and it could go through periods of drought as well as periods of flooding, and it would be able to perform. As far as the plants, there are weeds up here. They seem to be able to thrive in conditions where other plants do not thrive.
They do at my house.
Yes, and they do at everybody's. You can't seem to kill them. We included weeds that grew by runners rather than by seeds because we did not want to spread our weeds into our neighbors' yards.
What happens to any water that can't be absorbed by the soil or plants?
I have arranged it so that water goes to a drain pipe on the roof, and the drain pipe leads to a scupper on each side of the house. And then under the scuppers, I have put a sheep tank actually in the ground, filled with rocks. So that absorbs water, and from there it goes into a drain pipe underground, and it waters plants from below underground. So it all goes back into the ground.
So does this mean that there is no stormwater runoff coming off of your property?
Right. There is no stormwater coming off the property. Even the driveway is permeable. So we try not to bring any water back into the sewer. The city of Urbana still charges us.
Of course they do. So can you talk about some of the costs involved with green roof?
We had to make sure that the roof was structurally sound, and I use I-beams that have a thickness that would easily take on an extra load. There is a cost putting in a drainage layer that was fairly inexpensive. And then the soil mix and the plants are really not more than what you would do in your garden anyway.
Are there any benefits beyond stormwater management?
In the winter, the temperature on the roof will not go below freezing, which is interesting even if we have sub-zero temperatures. Mm-hmm. And in the summer, typically the roof will not get warmer than the plants, and the plants don't get much warmer than the air temperature. Mm-hmm. So there's a great benefit in the temperature differences, which means that you spend less cooling the house in the summer, and then spend less heating it in the winter.
So you have a very energy efficient home.
Yes, but that comes from the green roof is one part of that, but also passive solar gains in the winter, mm-hmm. Shading the windows in the summer. I have a solar collector that produces hot water, mm-hmm. And goes to underfloor radiant heating. So all of those measures together in a well-insulated house means that we have modest energy bills.
Green roofs and other practices highlighted in this series allow you to capture water on your property. But what if you can't hold back every drop? In the next episode of Stormwater at Home, we'll talk about what you can do to ensure the water leaving your property is clean enough to flow into our waterways.